I prefer the New Zealand sphagnum moss, and that's the only kind I've ever used. There is a darker moss, but I do like the brighter moss. And there are some live mosses out there that I would like to get sometime, but as far as the moss we used on a day-to-day basis for in our own enclosures, we use the New Zealand sphagnum moss. I buy it in huge bricks for myself. Sometimes we will package it ourselves, and occasionally we'll have the condensed brick, which are nice for transport to back and forth from shows. But realistically, by the time we pay shipping and stuff on those, we don't really make very much. Versus when I buy the huge bricks and we get them shipped in, and it is the same moss from the same place. It just happens to be out of a huge brick, and it also gives people a better idea because it is loose from the brick when we sell it, so you can have a better idea what you're actually going to get. The smallest of the prepackaged bricks is about 100 grams. They look really small. It's hard to gauge what you're actually going to get. But by weight, it is 100 grams. This 32-ounce deli cup, it's one of the 32-ounce Playcon delis. This deli cup has 10 grams of moss in it. So, that's 10 times this amount in those 100 grams tiny bricks that are really flat and squished. And we buy in a really huge brick, which has way more in it. And that's when we package it ourselves. This is, it tends to be, it's not as expanded, but it's nearly there as what it can be. 100 grams, will fill one of the gallon cheap bags that I have that have twist ties. It will fill them, and actually you have to squish it down to close it. If I take that twist tie off and fluff it up, it actually takes up more than a gallon in space. So that'll kind of give you an idea what 100 grams. So this in front of me, this is 10 grams by weight. And it's pulled out of the brick, so it's somewhat expanded, but it will fluff up a little bit better once I get water in it. So let me add some water. And generally it can take a little bit of time for it to soak up water. Usually I'll set it up, let it soak up the water. If I'm setting up frogs, I'll use dechlorinated water to expand it and soak up water. That way I know that it's safe. It's either going to be a while before I plan to use it, or I'm using it for animals that are not as sensitive, I can just use regular tap water to expand it. But as you can see, it's fluffed up a little bit once it soaks up all that water. But this is 10 grams. So our 100 gram bag that we sell for $5 is going to have 10 times this amount in it. But you can see, this is 10 grams. So 10 times this amount is a decent amount. And it's 100 grams, only $5. Which, that's pretty decent considering how much stuff you're going to be getting. And the actual brick where it's prepackaged is about this thin. It's very tiny. But it does by weight have 100 grams. So this stuff's a little bit different. It's advertised by weight, whereas your cocoa fiber just says an amount. Your moss will generally have both volume and weight on it, and that can give you a much better idea of what you're going to be getting. But you can see how this has a more golden color. That's why we've used the New Zealand. It's much better, especially as far as the display, because even dead, it is a golden color versus the dark brown of your regular moss. Eventually we would like to get some more live mosses so we'd have more green ones, but you have to be careful and make sure where they come from and things. And we also have to find a decent enough price that we can have it for sale reasonably for customers. And so that might take a little bit of time. If I'm going to have something for sale, I'm extremely particular of making sure that the stuff is the highest quality and carries no risk for your animals. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer to find the live stuff, because it has to be a good enough price that I can sell it, and it also has to be a quality that I am not putting my customers' animals at risk. And we will see you in a later video, and you can see some of the other types of stuff that we are trying to introduce people to, and a video just does a better job of it. Thank you.